Hey, Jamie.
We're on lockdown.
Yeah, I've been worried about you. I don't think initially I knew what our friendship would become, but she's been one of the few constants in my life, us both being queer and trans.
We can talk next Sunday, huh?
Yeah, call me on my birthday.
I hate being cooped up in that cell so much. If I'm laying there in the dark, it seems like it's closing in on me. If I come out, I will no longer paint any artwork related to prison life. You know what I want people to feel when they see my art?
What?
I want them to know that we're good people.
Karla, it's not often I come across a movie these days that has me in tears. And this one did. I really did choke up about it. It was quite remarkable. Without giving it all away, can you tell me in your words what Love, Jamie is about?
I think for me, this film is about this yearning and this need for acceptance and friendship and family and love. And it's about the power of art bringing these two people together. It is about an artist. And so for me, I feel like art can sometimes be very subjective. Not everyone's going to like her art, but for me, it's about that relationship and being able to watch that relationship bloom and blossom into what it was and to what it became. And I always like to have, a word to kind of act as a guiding light for my films. And the word for this film was dignity. And so it was really showing the respect and the dignity for their relationship and for Jamie's art.
So how on earth did you come across the story in the first place?
Well, it was very convoluted. I do like to say how sometimes films choose you, and that kind of happened with this. My DP and the producer of the film is a longtime colleague of mine and friend, and was working on a completely different project and filming at Dan's gallery. And Dan had mentioned this artist, Jamie Diaz, and I, saw some of her art and was just amazed by what she was able to produce under the circumstances, and the joy that it had. It was just very surprising in her use of color. But it actually wasn't until Dan shared one of her letters with us, which is in the film, and Jamie's voice just hit me. And she's also from Houston, which is where I grew up, and the compassion that she had, her openness, her honesty. I just thought I was just so touched by that. And that's sort of when the idea of the film came to be. And then it was just getting there. I mean, we couldn't have made this film without Gabriel and Jamie's blessings. So then it was just a matter of reaching out to them.
Okay, so because without Gabriel, it would have been a tough way to do the film, because how difficult is it to film someone who's incarcerated?
Right. I mean, and we were going down that road originally to try and film with her. I've filmed in prisons before. I filmed in death row in Texas and prisons in Illinois. And, it's a complicated process. Yeah.
Yes, really. Oh, because you're from Texas, that makes a lot of stories.
From Texas. I'm a journalist before I started moving into filmmaking. And so we were trying for that originally, but then we decided that we didn't want to be the defining image. I mean, if you see a visual of Jamie in prison, that's not how she wants to be seen. She wants to be known as an artist first. And so we decided not to film her at all in prison and only let audiences get to know her through her art, through her work, through her voice, and through Gabriel.
One thing that struck me about the film was that you didn't dwell on the reason why she's incarcerated and didn't make it out as a hero. Was that important to you to do that?
Yeah, I think it was. I mean, she talks about it in the film, but that's not the point of the film. I mean, again, the film is about, I see my job as a documentary filmmaker is creating empathy for people that you may not know, for people that you may never see, and especially on a platform like for American Masters, we can reach a lot of people who may not know anyone who's incarcerated, and so we really wanted to tell the story through their relationship. And Jamie's very honest about what she did and takes, ownership of what, happened to her. But yeah, the point of the story was not why she was in prison. It was about what she's been able to do despite of all of that, and to focus on humanity.
Yeah, because that's important, because most jail movies do focus on a injustice of her being there. What does Jamie make of the film? The finished product.
Jamie hasn't been able to see it.
Oh, yeah, okay.
But what we did do is send her, I sent her a transcript, and you're allowed to send 5 photographs. So I kind of gave her a little storyboard, and, she doesn't get the full sense of the film. And I cannot wait to be in an audience with her to hear, like, there's one piece of art that comes up, and there's always like the gasps that's made by the audience.
Yeah.
And I cannot wait for her to experience that. That was probably the hardest part about making this film, is showing it all these festivals and not having her be there. It didn't feel at all. We always tried to include her somehow, like a voice recording or something to play for the audience, but it just felt like she needed to be, that she should have been there for those screenings. I can't wait for this next chapter where we're able to do that.
So there's good news, and I don't want to get it wrong. After her stroke, do you want to share with us what's happening now?
Yes, so she was originally supposed to be up for parole next year. And we just found out last week. So she was then granted parole early in March after her. And then it was like a waiting game. We didn't know. And we just found out last week that she could potentially be released. I mean, she is scheduled to be released tomorrow. Gabriel, I just got a text, just landed in Houston and is going to be picking her up tomorrow, and she will be a free woman. Saying that is like giving me like,
I know, I've only seen the film once, so you're making me feel blah, blah, blah. But, and Gabriel's going to be able to meet her. Can you second guess where the relationship goes from now?
They consider themselves family, aunt and nephew. And Gabriel doesn't live in Texas, but I know that Gabriel has done so much, like just getting donations, getting her set up for her life outside. And I just think like their dream is to one day live in a big house where they've talked about this, 2 different wings of the house where Jamie has her studio, it can make art, Gabriel can live their life, and they can like meet and go out at night. I mean, Jamie has created a comic book that kind of is like this vision of the future for them. So I think that's that's the dream, basically.
Karla, what's going to happen to the body of her art, and what's the future now? Do you think she'll still be inspired now she's not incarcerated? And what should we do with the art? I mean, it should be shown somewhere.
I hope so. I think Daniel Cooney, Daniel Cooney Fine Art, they're actually working on a second exhibit. I think for next year. I'm not exactly sure if it's 2025, but her first show was very well received, and I think it's just a matter of just creating more, figuring out new ways for her to express herself, getting those large canvases that she's always dreamed of painting on to her. And who knows, what will happen next. I mean, I could not even predicted this moment. I don't even think Jamie could have, from sending that one letter, 10 years ago to now today where we're sitting. So who knows what can happen.
Is there a journey for the film after the screening?
I think this is it. I mean, it will be on American Masters, available to everyone. I love that it's public television too. I love that it's just for everyone to be able to see and access. It's not going to be, you don't have to have a subscription. I'm hoping though we can have some more in-person screenings, especially in Houston. We didn't do any festivals in Houston, and I really want to do some in Texas, in our hometowns, with Jamie there, I think would be incredibly meaningful for both of us.
Yeah. What message, if any, would you want us to take away, especially the transgender community? What do you want us to take away from your movie?
It goes again back to that word dignity.
Mhm.
You know, every day, the dignity of queer and trans people is being chipped away at, is being challenged. When you're incarcerated, that dignity is completely stripped away. And I want this film to be a celebration of love, life, resiliency, of the power of art, and to show that there are people out here that care. And it, you know, it's Jamie's message too. She is like queer and proud, and I want that feeling to
Yeah.
be what audiences are left with.
It's a beautiful film. Thank you for making it, and thank you for showing it to the world. And I implore everybody that's watching this now, go watch it and have a big box of tissues because you'll need it. Thank you so much.
So much for having me.